Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Mi, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the complete chapter of 1053 now that we have the full leaks, some translations, and some pictures of the chapter that we can analyze and break down the events that are occurring in this chapter. Please keep in mind that some lines may not be absolutely faithful to the official translation, or it may be adapted just to make it easier to understand for right now. But without more winding it up, let's talk about what's going to be happening in the country of Wano. But before we dive into this speculation, if you're new to the channel, we'd be absolutely honored if you consider leaving us a like or even subscribing with a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really motivates us to make more content, and if you'd like to help us out in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or the channel with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. The chapter opens with an angry Gorosei saying that they hadn't allowed this to be published and that it wasn't supposed to have D in Luffy's name. But then the CP0 agent replies that they hadn't received the request and that the picture had been taken by Mr. 5. The Gorosei order them to reprint it before the whole world sees it, but the Admiral says it won't be possible because they can't get in touch with the printing factory. Enraged, the Gorosei just yell to stop the publication at all costs. But then we see what was really happening going on at the printing factory. Morgans laughing while the pages are being printed. Morgans gets emotional seeing Luffy's new appearance, saying that his mystical appearance was amazing and that it was for his workers to spread these posters all over the world for everyone to see. It is then announced that the Emperor Kaido and Emperor Big Mom have both been defeated. And it took a short time for the world to learn of this news. And then it's then said that the name of those pirates who managed to defeat these emperors. The three captains mentioned, of course, Monkey D. Luffy, Eustace Kid, and Trafalgar Law. And they've managed to overthrow two of the emperors who've ruled the seas for really decades. And so the government places a bounty of 3 billion berries each on their heads. A very exceptional amount. We next see the port of Wano, and Kid's pirates are looking kind of scared at the new bounties. And they call Kid and tell him that he's got a $3 billion bounty on his head. And that was just amazing. Then we see Kid starting to walk away, and Apu asks him where he was going. An expression kind of changed, and Killer answers, saying that it was probable that Kid was going to the flower capital to give the news. So he and Killer were going to go together. But of course, everyone's drawn to the capital anyway because of the giant celebration from the victory in this country that was going on. And of course, these pirates wouldn't want to miss it because it was made especially to celebrate all of their contribution. We see at the party there's servers and they're bringing dishes around and where guests can choose from all different kinds of dishes that just seem fit for a shogun to eat. And then we see the Straw Hats together. Jinbei in an ecstatic mood. It said that he'd been waiting for 2 hours for his meal, but that the dishes looked very delicious and thanked the servants for their kindness. And then he looks outside the castle and says things outside were really quite lively. We see a scene where the citizens are joyful and saying that everything was free and everyone was just, free to enjoy what they want. The panel then turns to Luffy, Yamato, and Chopper, starting to eat various dishes that were on the table. Yamato tells them it was their first time eating at a festival like this, and it was just a great, amazing day. While everyone is celebrating at the huge party that was happening upstairs, we then go to under the castle where Hitetsu and Nico Robin are talking alone. Hitetsu asks Robin what she was looking for, and then she asks him how he knew her name. However, he doesn't answer her, and he changes the subject. He shows her her collection of Kokeshi dolls and asks her if they thought they were pretty. Robin honestly replies that they're really not that pretty and asks him why he had a collection of Kokeshi dolls and why they were under Wano Castle. Hitetsu then answers by saying that this was his secret hobby room and that he'd been stuck there for several years. So Nico Robin asks him why he'd been arrested. Who was he really? And asks him if he was really a blacksmith. Well, Hitetsu then answers saying that the sword making is something he was talented at, but again, it was just a hobby. But Nico Robin is still puzzled and doesn't understand his answer. So Hitetsu slowly removes his mask and says that his real name is Kozuki Sukiyaki, the father of Kozuki Oden. Robin asks him if he intended to tell Momonosuke. However, Hitetsu says no. However, the vassals may have noticed his true identity. Hitetsu says that he's really to blame for everything. He had allowed Orochi to dominate Wano, so he didn't feel comfortable to say that he was alive, because he didn't really have any reason to be alive, and he'd thought about taking his life at that moment before Nico had arrived. Robin replies that he just couldn't do that. However, she also interrupts his speech to talk about another subject, and she says that Pluton was supposed to be in the country of Wano. However, she was not finding it. She had seen during the Alabasta arc that Pluton was somewhere in Wano hiding, and he says that yes, it indeed was in Wano. But we don't know the rest of this dialogue, as the scene then switches to Wano's former prisoner mine. Throughout the prison, we see several beast pirates punctured by plants, and all are being attacked by an unknown enemy. And we next see King and Queen defeated. Ryukugyu is seen then absorbing the nutrients from the body of these pirates. And Queen is so thin and has lost so much weight that the plants just sucked it all out of him and left him as a husk. While draining the pirates, Ryukugyu walks toward them and says that he couldn't be defeated by mere commanders because he was an admiral of the Navy, and then says that he will be responsible for cleaning these pirates from Wano. We then see Ryukugyu use his plants and punctures a barrel near these various pirates and absorbs the liquid that's inside the barrel. Ryukugyu then kinda says that he shouldn't have called that a drink because it was kinda bad and should have left it alone. The Denden Mushi, or transponder snail that was in Ryukugyu's hand, starts to ring, and then he starts talking to a marine who is following his orders. Ryukugyu then says that he'd arrived in Wano and had managed to defeat some of the pirates from Kaido's band. Ryukugyu goes on to say that it was necessary that he brought all of these combat shits to Wano because he needed this support. But it doesn't seem that the marine on the other line is understanding what he's saying very well. So Ryukugyu then says that this is an order that is not to be brought to Sakazuki, and then he hangs up the snail. During his conversation on the transponder snail, we finally get to see the true appearance of this mysterious person we've had only in shadow. And he then gets to say that he would love to listen to Sakazuki and speak, and he loves his style of doing things in extreme ways after he finishes his mission of taking the head of this boy. Now, we don't know if he's referring to Luffy or perhaps other pirates that were in the battle, like Kid or Law or anybody else there for that matter. But at any rate, the Admiral then begins to proceed towards Wano, and as he flies away, flowers form where he passes and walks by. We then go back to the party that's happening in the Flower Capital, and Luffy is just now shouting to the ninjas, pirates, minks, and samurai, and now that they were all gathered, of course we see scenes of the citizens wondering, why is this boy shouting? But Luffy continues, and he calls out and mentions all of the king's vassals, and Yakuza, and the land of Wano, and says that he wants to make a toast to everyone who helped manage to defeat the enemies that were oppressing the citizens of Wano. Something that makes them very happy, and they celebrate together. We then get a quick flashback where we see Luffy is talking to Momonosuke, and Luffy forbids him to tell anyone that it was he who was responsible for beating Kaido and his crew. Momonosuke asks him why he wouldn't want to be recognized by the people, but Luffy doesn't answer. So then we return to the present time, where Kid is going towards Luffy. Kid calls out to Luffy and says, "Straw Hat, I'll take your life now." But he's interrupted by fireworks. Luffy, of course, ignores what Kid was saying and says it's time to eat, and says cheers, and tells everyone to party all night. And Hirago happily says that pirates are so flashy, and that they're able to make a great party even more unbelievable. The Kid goes running towards Luffy, saying that he was gonna take his life, and he had no idea what had happened outside. But at this moment, he shows the posters of the new emperors to Luffy, and when he sees it, Luffy gets completely stunned. His eyes go out of focus, just not understanding what was going on. We next get our first look at the new bounty posters for the current Yonko, all who were kind of put there, and because of course with the loss of Kaido and Big Mom, there's 2 vacancies. We are then shown pictures of red-haired Shanks, Buggy the Clown, Straw Hat Luffy, and of course Teach, otherwise known as Blackbeard, as the 4 current Yonkos. And they are now considered the 4 most powerful pirates in the world. And seeing this, Luffy is kind of scared because even he wasn't understanding why he had gotten the title of Yonko. The chapter ends with Ryukugyu ending up near the festival and the island of Onigashima. And as he walks towards the festival and all these things are going on, flowers are forming in the desert just below our flower capital. While walking towards the celebration and hearing funny music coming from the festival, he said he reluctantly didn't have time to celebrate because he had to finish with those damn kids, referring to the 3 pirates that are currently worth 3 billion berry. And this way, the chapter then closes. So there you have it, friends. That is the full rundown of our expectations and the full spoilers for chapter 1053. And for now, we'd love to know what you think about it. What is the part of this chapter that you are really looking forward to? And what do you think, Ryukugyu is really there to do? And also, why do you think Luffy doesn't want to take credit for taking down Kaido? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap things up for the day, I want to thank you all so much for watching the video up to the very end. Make sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, maybe give us a like or hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.